we're limited to 3. So joining us now via the Gridiron Guys hotline is our favorite linebacker, DeQuell Jackson. And as always, when someone joins us on the hotline, they're brought to you by Gridiron Guys. Are you looking for a local roofer you can trust? Family-owned since 2003, the Gridiron Guys have grown to become Northeast Ohio's top-rated roofers. They exemplify quality work practices and are a valued resource for homeowners and offer a 10-year workmanship warranty. Call 330-573-7967 today for a free estimate or roof inspection. And hold on, guys. Play it, Steve.
Gridiron Guys.
That's nice. Yeah. That's nice. That's nice.
What I'm talking about, man. That's a way to show up to work even though you ain't here, bro. He got his peoples with him, man. That's dope,
it's
man.
the first of 4 bull clips this episode. So.
All right,
excellent.
Let's go.
Excellent.
Let's get to it. Let's get to my man DeQuell. D Jack, what's going on, man?
No chair spin today?
Look,
what's that?
No chair spin today?
Oh, nah, you know what? It's a serious day. So
I mean, take that right now because we coming hot today. Coming hot today.
I heard.
Look, because you know the NBA player over here, he mad. He mad that y'all caving like this. What is the deal? Somebody tell me what's happening.
Let's talk about that, DeQuell. Because to get to understand where Deshaun Watson is at right now, we got to take a look at context of how the NFL Players Association sort of caved the way it's looking. Tybus is explaining it to me as a young player. I'm glad we got you on because you can explain it as an OG. What was some of those conversations going on back then, and what was your thought process on where we are now in the ruling in terms of them switching the game up halfway through?
Yeah, it's different for every player, man. I remember going through the lockout year, 2010, and during that time, you try to learn as much as you can about the CBA, what happens behind enemy lines, if you will, and you reach out to guys on the executive committee. You try to find out as much information as possible. But in the end, I always feel like there's so much room for improvement, right? And you look at the current collective bargaining agreement, right, where, as a young person, you kind of fall in line with the older guys because you don't really know the situation. You don't really understand fully how vested you are and what decisions you make now will affect you in the end. Mm-hmm. So as you get older, you start to understand these things a little bit better. And what I'm having a hard time figuring out with this new collective bargaining agreement is there's so much gray area where you agreed to this deal that basically says you have these 14 provisions of the conduct policy, but there's no definitive definition of what that means. It's just open. It's so vague, and it's open to a third-party disciplinary officer to kind of interpret what those rules actually mean. So it's so much gray area. And in this case, Deshaun Watson, man, I've always said from the start, I thought he was going to get a year. Whether if it was up to the NFL, he was going to get a year just because of the public outcry. And how long this story has been in the news cycle. We'll continue to talk about it, and it's going to dominate all the headlines. Last night, heck, I was watching the Hall of Fame game, and I couldn't help but think about this situation right here because it's been dominated on every platform you turn around. But I think the NFL, listen, from a player standpoint, if you're a current player, you need to be paying attention to what's going on because you don't have any leverage right now. You're basically the punishment is going to come down to the public outcry, and that has more weight. And in the end, through everything that we can talk about the NFL, what they can do better, what they can improve on. But in the end, after reading the Sue Robinson report, it's clear that the NFL places more of a emphasis on gambling. If you look at the Calvin Ridley situation, more emphasis on PEDs than actually domestic violence, and that's something that both sides agreed to, and it's an uphill battle at this point, in my opinion.
Well, and I'll say this to you, DeQuell. I think that and I'm glad that you said that. You never know as a young player. You don't really understand how this game can affect people going down the line. Because when you're negotiating these collective bargaining, it's not really for you. You're gonna get a little bit of it. It's for the people that come behind you. Because you're setting the trend for everybody else that comes behind you. I will say this though, I've been DeQuell. I've been emphatic about this. I'm not on the Deshaun Watson. This is gonna go where it go, right? Only thing I want to see is that the process is a fair process, right? and
Right.
somebody hears the case and all the merits of the case and then makes a decision from there. What I don't like is this. The game is rigged from the beginning, right? And the NFLPA agreed to it. I'm stunned by that. I'm stunned.
Right.
And,
Right.
and I won't even go to the players. Who is representing the group? Because if you don't like the dude, you go get the baseball boy. He the baddest boy out here. Go get him.
Right.
Because the one
Right.
thing that they will do is this. I'm with them, not with you. I'm with them, right? My interest, I'm getting paid from this group. I'm going to represent them to the fullest. Now, you tell me who in their right mind would have agreed to a process like this? And then to DeQuell's point, they have findings in here or stipulations of offenses with no definition. What does
No
this
definition
mean?
of it.
None.
And you basically, from the NFLPA standpoint, if you're representing a player, I think I heard you guys say it earlier, that's a misrepresentation from a player standpoint in Deshaun Watson's case. And I'm not saying he's guilty or innocent. The facts are the facts, right? What I'm saying is you agree to this language, but you're challenging something you agreed to.
Right.
In litigation. And so it doesn't make sense. It's this what are you chasing? So it makes things really gray. It's unfortunate. Listen, you read the report. I just read the report this morning twice. And basically Sue Robertson pointed out, listen, there's much proof that the sexual misconduct happened. She made a ruling based on the limitations she was operating under from the NFL standpoint. There's no definitive definition of what sexual misconduct is and what punishment is associated with it. So it's just very gray. And listen, it's a lot. The NFLPA needs to take a hard look at things and definitely, this doesn't look good for them. And it doesn't look good for anyone else that in the future will be in a similar situation, given that, these rules and provisions are so vague.
DeQuell, on my podcast, I tried to explain from a player's perspective of how basically the other people on the Browns, the players, are able to go to practice and perform with all this going on. If you was with the Browns right now and all this was going on, how do you think you would handle this situation?
I would probably have some of this in my locker every day.
Take another hit.
Before I answer that question,
Take a hit. You're like,
it's something you can't avoid. As a player, you gotta, imagine, Titus, imagine if you're a rookie. You know how hard it is to figure out which meeting room to go to, try to figure out the system of what they want from you, how to study, how to prepare, how to do all these things, take care of your body. And now you got to ask questions about another player in this situation. It takes the focus away from the primary goal, which is obviously to win games, win a championship, because this team has a championship roster. If I'm in that locker room, man, this is a headache. This is something that it's gonna be draining. The season is hard enough as a player, dealing with family, dealing with your personal, goals that you have. There's so much that goes into being a professional athlete, and then you dump this on top that you have to answer every day, all day, and every big affiliate that reports on sports is going to be in Cleveland all year. So, I mean, it's a tough situation, but listen, that's life. You got to deal with it, and you have to literally deal with the situation day by day.
And DeQuell, let me ask you, because G and I have had these conversations. I mean, the way I see it is this, that there's not much wiggle room here, right? So either the Players Association is going to go all the way in, and that means starting with today, filing an appeal against Sue Robertson, going against their own thing for the first 6 games. Because unless they do that, he doesn't have a chance to play in the beginning games because they've already basically agreed to the 6-game suspension. So unless they're going to go all the way to the mat, the only role I see out here for Deshaun Watson is basically this: to negotiate a settlement with NFL, which is going to give them more games and some money and some wiggle room to be able to walk this back. Because if they're not willing to go all the way to Quell, this is going to be a circus and a sideshow here for a long time.
Yeah, I don't see what the end goal is from the NFLPA standpoint. The NFL, the commissioner has the power to make a decision here. And clearly, when I was asked this question about my feelings about, the 6-game suspension on Monday when I jumped on the show, like I hadn't read the report, it was fresh on my mind, so I hadn't had time to really process it. And I thought the NFL would say, you know what, let's deflect the blame on Sue Robertson if it has this public outcry, because this is what we agreed to from a CBA collective bargaining agreement standpoint, and to deflect some of the blame. And here we go, and to give credit and to give credibility to their collective bargaining agreement, right? That was my thought process on Monday.
Right.
Now they challenge it, and now the NFLPA is getting involved. I don't see an end to this. And you're right. You're absolutely right, Brad. Like, the only way I see this just moving on from this is for the NFL and Deshaun Watson and his representation to come up with some agreement. And whatever the case may be, there's going to be a community of people that do not want to see this guy ever play again. There's going to be another, crew of people that wants to see him play. That you can't satisfy everyone. Mm-mm. What it's going to come down to is the one provision within the conduct policy that probably takes precedent over all the other ones, is the fact that when your conduct it affects the integrity of the shield. And that's first and foremost. They're going to make a decision based on the integrity.
You just reminded me of something, DeQuell. Unless the only way forward is a settlement with the league, because unless you disagree, because in Sue Robinson's report, she basically said, I found just cause that you can believe that there was a crime committed, right? And so I'm gonna give you the 6 games. So unless you dispute that finding, you're agreeing to the personal conduct policy problem that exists, right? So unless the league is ready, the player association is ready to play this game all the way out, there's only one avenue. But I said this from the beginning, G. Here's the problem. The Players Association has been playing one-level chess. Yep. The league has been playing 3-level chess from the beginning, because they knew they had this in the back pocket. This is just creep up this week.
Hey, Brad, I don't mean to interrupt you, but it's almost like the employees holding the owners accountable. That's a no-win situation. That's a no-win situation when it all boils down. It's like, how are the players, how is everyone else supposed to hold this private organization to a more standard? It's impossible. It just doesn't make sense.
I'm gonna ask this question before we move on to training camp and actually talk about a little football. Okay. But it's very rare that you have 4 African American people on TV at the same time who happen to be athletes. So I can never get over this question. For me, as a black man and as a former athlete, I have a very difficult time coming to grips with certain things. And one of the things that I can't understand is the media's focus. You just said something, DeQuell, that every single day, we hear the same thing. You also said some people don't ever want this man to play again. My question is, I got a hard time, because that mindset and rhetoric of that standpoint, to me, shows me that this country has gone nowhere racially. Because I can look at the fact that Supreme Court justices with lifetime appointments have been appointed after sexual assault allegations. I've had presidents, both, go have those same allegations, right? But when we turn that TV on, I was there during the presidential election. You heard it once and it kept moving. You heard it 1 or 2 times and you kept moving. And they ran 26 people out for a press conference, women, from all different ages and shapes and sizes, against somebody, and our country disregarded it. So I have a very difficult time, because I cover sports, that I can't look at that and say, we are so far ahead. No, we're not. We got 2 separate systems when it comes to everything. And it just shows you in your face, right here, you don't matter as much as that person matters. If you're going to be named in a lawsuit It is the most disrespectful thing in the world to sit here and railroad and keep pointing when there's a whole organization that settled 30 claims themselves. The difference is what? One person is rich and very, very white. One person is young and very, very black. And the reason why there's not 4 people on television that look like this is because that don't matter either. That's skewed as well. At the end of the day, sometimes I feel like this is the new civil rights. I feel like, yeah, I learned about Martin Luther King. I learned about Malcolm X. I learned about all of that. I went to school. But them textbooks ain't no different from what we do today. It's just different. It's just they don't do it in your face. They don't do it blatantly. They don't spray you with hoses and sick you with dogs. But they will railroad you on TV. Because don't believe that if it's me, you, or DeQuell, at the end of the day, you the same as Deshaun Watson. We like your career, don't get no DUI. We like you on TV, don't find no emails. We like you over here, but don't be getting caught up doing nothing else because you will be guilty, and you will be guilty. And that's the way I see it and the way I feel, and I can't run away from it. You tell me if I'm wrong.
Well, I just go back to this, and you guys can weigh in. For me, again, I'll tell you, this is not about Deshaun Watson. What we're talking about right now, it's about the process and fairness, right? That's all we're asking for.
Yeah.
A fair shake. But again, some of the onus is on us.
Yes.
Because DeQuell, how much is the union head making? The Murray Smith, how much does he make?
A few $1 million a year, a lot of money.
I like. So my question to the players: are you getting your money's worth?
No, right now, technically not.
I'd be like, so I would be like, if I'm not getting my money's worth, you got to go.
He makes $3 million, Brad.
Look,
$3
million. I like. Because anybody tell me, was it worth the $3 million? Because I'm not even on the Watson thing. Because I go Watson,
sure
I can go any other case that just went down. I like. Somebody has to represent the interests of the group first. Just the flagship for us to even get to the question of having a fair and level playing field.
Hey, Brad, I want to add.
I looked up the salary. It's $2.92 million. It fell from 4.45.
So they docked him some money.
So
that's a shame.
Yeah, great. Go ahead, DeQuell. You
Still paying for the Bentley.
So I was going to say, in lieu of what you just said, Brad, I think the casual fan needs to understand the NFL standpoint on this. Like they're not some like moral compass, right? Like they're not going to make decisions based on the morality of it all. Roger Goodell and the NFL is all about obviously protecting the integrity and the public perception of the game.
They got $1 billion
regardless. If you look at the Ray Rice situation in 2014, how there was a 2-game suspension. They amended it. Now they set a precedent for 6 games, and ultimately he was indefinitely suspended, never played again. But I don't think, my buddy Dominique Foxworth, he's on another network. He said something that stood out to me in terms of the Ray Rice situation as opposed to Deshaun Watson. Well, everyone wants to say, hey, Roger Goodell, the NFL did the right thing, getting rid of, some people may say this, they got rid of, after the video aired of Ray Rice and the domestic violence that occurred, he got rid of him. But in actuality, Ray Rice's talent got rid of him. Because if he could play, if he was an elite player or quarterback to that stature, let's say Deshaun Watson, that's the only reason we're talking about it. Mm-hmm. So for people that watch the game and don't understand the nuances of it, that's the crux of it all, right? It's like if you can play, if we'll deal with all the public outcry as long as your talent outweighs it. And this place, it seems to be the case so far.
Because I go back to this, DeQuell. I mean, listen here, I hate to bring up old news and old dirt. Did we forget about what happened to Ben Roethlisberger?
Right.
I mean, did everybody forget about that?
Yeah.
They
He had 6, which got swept down to 4.
Well, they say I brought this up,
and they're like, "Well, he settled the cases."
I brought this.
Did he?
I brought this up yesterday, and they said that well, 1 is different than 24.
Oh, you stop playing with me.
That's what they say. One case is it's not as bad as 24. That's what it is.
I would go back to the people that were involved. I bet you they would dispute that.
DeQuell, let me ask you, aside from Deshaun Watson, because he's totally dominated the Cleveland Browns, is there any Cleveland Brown player that you actually are looking forward to see this season, like have a big year?
Yeah, man, I'm glad you. I got to think about this for a second.
I've been dominated by
Deshaun Watson. I've been dominated by it, man. But I always say the linebacker from Notre Dame. The Joker.
Okay.
I like him, man. I'm probably his number one fan. That I had a chance to meet him the last time I was in Cleveland and chat with him, and I just think the world of him. He just has all the tools in the makings of being a stud guy. And with Jadeveon Clowney coming back, obviously you got some question marks up front, but you still got that dog. Oh my gosh, I forgot his name.
Miles
Garrett. You still have that dog up front, so I think I'm looking for him to make a huge leap, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he progresses.
Do you like that 28 number on him?
No, I do not. I do not. Man, it's no, man. Like line, unless it's a single digit.
Hey.
Then you need to be in like the 50s or something like that.
You're right. You're right.
No,
He got that.
It doesn't work,
I
man.
don't like it either.
He got that running back number, bro. I'm like, who's this little 13 scat back?
Yeah, see, that didn't even bother me. I was like, y'all bothered by that.
28
It bothers me, man.
DeQuell, let me ask you this, because Tyvus brought up a good point. Since the Deshaun Watson thing is sailed, I mean, it's basically sailing. I mean, he's going to be down for a minute, right?
Yeah,
how do we get ahead from here, right? How do we get ahead? Because people around
Great
here
question.
now, blowing up the airwaves, just say like, go get Garoppolo.
Hey,
Like,
I'm a fan. Y'all know I'm a fan. That's my boy now. That's my boy.
What are we doing?
All right, here we go.
I don't know what you do, because you've already given away 3 first-round future draft picks. You need that. You need the draft capital that you do have. So I think you have to play it out. I really do. You have to play it out with Jacoby Brissett, and you have a great roster. You have a good running game, so this team will be competitive. I think you have to play it out. But you definitely have to kick the tires on the possibility of Garoppolo and see if that could actually work. But then you don't know. The big question mark is Deshaun Watson. Will he be gone for a year? Will it be more than a year?
Oh, it's
will this stage
not looking good, bro.
So with this stage steamroll you don't know if you're going to have him ever. So that's a great question, Brad, and I don't know if I have the answer for it. I'm glad I'm not the one making those decisions.
This heated up yesterday, right? This heated up yesterday, G.
Hey, DeQuell, man, I don't know if we can do this. I think we should all, simultaneously, as posthumously as possible, we really need to pour a little liquor out for Deshaun Watson. It's not looking good for the homie. We pour a little. Yeah. There we go. It's not looking good for the homie. Get your man together.
Not looking good.
Not looking good. But here's what we gonna. We gotta say. We wish the best of you. Like, what's the name said? Did he say you're gonna get some money, but not here? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get some money, but not here. So I would look at it this way. Let's get into this Jacoby Brissett, because that's the next wave of conversation.
Yeah.
This is
on him now.
It's on him now. So now, when you talk about the Jacoby Brissett, the narrative is going to be already from Jump Street, go get me somebody else. And so now Jacoby Brissett has kind of stepped into that white hot spotlight behind center.
Right.
Because here's the thing, what people gonna say: we didn't give Baker no passes. We gave him 0. And they not about to come back and just he played a couple games. No, that playing quarterback for the Browns is about to be a problem. DeQuell, do you feel like from Jump Street they ready to get him up out of here? I'm gonna let you know that right now.
No, I not yet. But he's on a short leash. I can tell you that. Listen, I was in Cleveland when the fans who was the starting quarterback. Derek Anderson was the quarterback, and we had drafted Brady Quinn.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And Derek Anderson got hurt, and they started cheering because they wanted Brady Quinn. So listen, anything can happen in Cleveland Stadium, but he's definitely on a short leash. But I mean, would you play this scenario? I know you like conspiracy theories and all that. Would it let me pose this. Would it be crazy to think they would try to get Baker Mayfield back?
Oh, no, they wouldn't have that here. It'd be a blow up.
Yes.
But here, the Quill yesterday was hot around town because they were like, people were like this yesterday. We should have held on to Baker Mayfield. We should have held on that part I was having Deshaun Watson.
We'll get the poll. Hold on, I'll get the poll.
I'm about to say,
Baker Bros are speaking right now, I bet.
I did a podcast. Shout out to Locked On Browns. If you ain't looking at Locked On Browns, you need to be subscribing to that. Me and Jeff did a show today. We said, there's a poll that says 55% of the people right now wish they had Baker Mayfield. 55. And to be honest, it's always hovered.
Well, the question was posed, knowing what you know now.
Today.
Would you rather have would you have still made the trade for Deshaun Watson or kept Baker Mayfield? And it kept swinging. It swayed.
Look at this swing. Now, knowing all you know now, if you could rewind back to January and undo everything, who was your pick as the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns for 2022? You go back to June, right? June says 66 or 68% of the people wanted Baker. Now you go to August. August started to look like the tea leaves was changing. We had the 6 game.
August 1st was the day the suspension was announced. This was after the suspension was
So
announced.
now you look at the numbers.
6 games.
6 games. 58%, 42, right? So now you look at it. August 4th, you get the appeal. Looks like it's going to be a year or more. 54% of the fans would like to see Baker Mayfield in as quarterback. What's your take on that, DeQuell? I'm gonna pose the same question to you.
Yeah, I would love to see Baker Mayfield back, knowing what I know now. Knowing what I know now. At least he understands the roster. He knows the scheme. Listen, the guys like him in the locker room, but you just have him hand the ball off. Do not put the game on the line with his arm. But yeah, I would love to have Baker Mayfield back right now, knowing what I know now, because it's not looking good for Deshaun now or in the future. Well, so we don't know. It could also, it's going to hurt the Browns even more so because they gave up 3 first-round draft picks.
DeQuell, but what happens when Baker walks back in that locker room? Like, come on, there's no way the team, even with everything that's going on, is going to just accept him back with open arms. There's no way.
Listen, if he can win games, he's accepted. As simple as that.
Remember, DeQuell, there was not one concurrent Browns player that sent off a farewell to Baker, but Odell, they was at the airport dapping him up and hugging him on his way out.
DeQuell, you know what's happening right now? I'm going to be honest with you, man. Man, when I was going through my divorce, I was like, sign the paperwork up. Sign me up. I ain't playing around with you. I get somebody tomorrow. You sign that paperwork, and then you start moving your stuff out, and then you start getting to your little apartment and be like, this is not spacious. And then you be in there, you get in the bed, you be looking around like, hold on, what the heck is going on here? It's kind of empty. See, that's the Browns right now. It's like, we're signing that paperwork. Let's get this paperwork up out here. And now they're like, I don't even know if I can date no more. Where's this girlfriend that I was signing up for? See, it's always easier to get a job if you got a job.
Go back to the video. Go back to the video. I said from the beginning, I said Baker Mayfield was going to be under that center. I wouldn't have let Baker Mayfield go to this Washington.
Me neither.
Paying itself out. I don't care who didn't care. You sit right here to the end.
Tyvus, don't you switch over. Don't you switch over.
What I say?
You was looking to the side like this. Oh, no.
Whoa.
OGs was looking. They talking about Baker. You know good. I put it
right
to you.
here.
Would you
I've always
if
said,
you had to do it
to be honest with you, this fan base is lying to themselves if they really think that they didn't want Deshaun Watson over Baker Mayfield. They're lying, because even if it's only 12 games, they still take Deshaun Watson over Baker Mayfield after what happened last season. After the way he walked out and criticized fans and all the scrutiny, there's no way. And it's a guy who quit on this team at the last game of the season. There's no way that I'm riding. No, he cannot. He cannot play quarterback for this team.
In the words of Rick Pitino, Baker Mayfield not walking back through that door.
Now,
so Jacoby Brissett, I'm gonna need you to get in the video room and the playbook and go over to the house and Hunt house and stay there for the weekend. Y'all get real tight.
We gotta stop. We gotta
Hey,
stop like
Brad, you know what I would
Jacoby Brissett ain't Kate.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's your job.
He ain't got no choice.
It's your job, bro.
He ain't got no choice.
I'm gonna need you to come on here.
Listen, if I'm representing Jacoby Brissett, I'm going to the Browns like, hey, listen, we need to restructure this contract because now the onus,
There you go.
the onus is on him. So if I throw for a certain amount of touchdowns, certain amount of yards, I need my salary to go up, and that'll incentivize him to play better.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to at this point. What other options do you have
Help me
to try
out
to
here.
incentivize him to play better?
You know the devastating part about this, fellas, is this could be the best of times or this could be the worst of times. Because I ain't doom and gloom guy, but I got to look at both sides of the picture. Now, the Houston Texans look like they didn't got away scot-free.
Oh, they didn't rob the finger gun. Give me all the money.
They
Give me
got away
everything.
with this. They snuck in. They paid their little the people
Penance.
off
They
and
penance.
left. Now here's the problem. I thought that Kevin Stefanski, no matter what, was going to be safe because they signed the peace treaty with the Haslam. Haslam said, I told you to go get him. Let's sign that peace treaty. We good. It don't matter what happened this year. But I can look at a crystal ball and see something different a little bit. Now think about this. Like Jacoby Brissett come out, he get off to a rough start. You lose the first game against the Panthers, and Baker is out there sticking the flag in the middle of the field.
Oh, that's right.
And you take that L.
got to bring that
Hold
up,
on.
man?
Then you take that L on national TV. Then you struggle. You get off to 1-4. Then the ruling comes down that Deshaun is suspended indefinitely. Now you turn it around and you like, wow, we could have a top 5 draft pick, and they got to give it to the Texans. That is devastating.
I want you to know something. Before McNuggets asks his last questions, you can win a Super Bowl from running the ball and playing great defense. The Seattle Seahawks definitely did it in 2013.
Very true.
So it's a chance.
We got Carlos Baerga
It's
coming up next to Quell. But before we let you go, Steve, let's take tag board. We need a breakdown on this video to Quell. You sent this to me. You posted it on social media. We need a breakdown. This is your son already getting the work in.
Yeah, so this is my son. He wanted to go work out with me. So my trainer, Myron Flower, shout out to him. So he wanted to test my son's agility. So the object of it is not to get hit by this big gray ball. So I thought he did a good job. It was his first time out. He loved it.
That's a move right there.
We did some kettlebells that day. He ran around the track for at least 2 hours. And they thought for sure he would be asleep in the car, and my buddy was not.
Oh, no, we saw that. He wasn't asleep that day.
How old is he?
But I was proud of him. I was very proud of him.
How old is your son?
He'll be 4 in November.
Oh, wow.
Somebody check his bottle. You got performance enhancers. I don't know well.
He knew,
I was
he
on
knew
a
how
few
to get out the
supplements
way.
when he was
4 years old.
He said I was on some supplements.
Yeah,
when
that's
he was
See,
kissing.
hey, your son can't have creatine, DeQuell. He can't be drinking muscle milk. This
No, I'm not. No, I said it was a advice system. It was a advice system.
DeQuell has always been. It's been a great opportunity to talk to you. Hey,
Yes, man.
pour one
Always,
out for
guys.
my mans. We pour one out.
Happy Black Friday.
Yeah, that's right. Keep the faith, bro. Keep the faith. The ship not going down here, bro. We're not having it. We're not having it.
Hey, I'm with it. I'm
And I
riding the
tell you
ship,
what's
brother.
not going to happen. That boy not going to stick a flag in the Carolina turf on that Sunday.
Hey,
There's no way.
We're gonna be sick.
There's no way.
Oh,
This
my
second
goodness. Shout out to
move
my
right
son,
here. This
King.
second move right here is dope.
Oh, this like the second move was
second-
legit.
second
He like,
This
oh,
is
come on.
speed, come on.
Watch.
There it is, there it is.
He like, ooh,
And he
wow.
finished
You
the
got better
drill.
feet than
And he
Tiger.
finished the drill.
Whoa, easy now. Easy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that.
I got
He coming
spicy.
It's
All
one
right,
here.
we holler at you,
All right, DeQuell.
Thanks,
All right,
DeQuell.
fellas, y'all take it easy.
All right,
right
have a
now.
good weekend.